Go back, there's a light in the tunnel when you can't turn back. Your friends can't save you, your family's gone. You're waiting on it at the foot of the throne. Will you beg for some mercy? Will you cop some pleas? Will you stand on your own or get down on your knees? With demons dwell, you gonna go right back to hell. Only time will tell. Only time will tell. Only time will tell. Only time will tell. Tick, tick, tick. Nobody. Hell on earth. Forgiveness from God, mankind. Why? New beginning. Hour of reprisals. When the clock won't beat, your eyes go back, and the line in the tunnel when you can't turn back. Your friends can't save you, your family's gone. You're waiting on it in the foot of the throne. Will you beg for some mercy? Will you cop some pleas? Will you stand on your own or get down on your knees? Oh God. Please dwell. Will you gain on your front? Don't go right back to hell. Only time will tell. Only time will tell. Only time will tell. Only time will tell. All right, all right. How's everybody doing? This is Shad, the Sumerian King. Today, I want to actually be able to communicate with you guys. It's been a long time. I haven't done any segments or anything like that. But it's something that I want to share about you guys, with you guys. Sorry about that. Um, about a little knowledge of what's going on and secrets that people should know about that society is there. The information is out there, but they just trying to suppress it more and more and more, especially with this Khazar movement going around now, where they control you know mainstream media. They control everything. They just bought Chat GPT, so they could be able to suppress certain information of not letting people know the truth. And now in days, the truth is basically a penalty. Telling the truth now, pretty soon, it's going to be illegal to tell the truth, right? Where they want you to act like it doesn't exist, right? Go along, get along, gang. That's what they're looking for. And a lot of people seem to sell out. A lot of people sell their soul, sell their butthole, sell their morals, to be around these satanic people that Jesus, Jesus spoke about, was letting us know about. There's going to be a time where, the generation of the vipers, right? That's what they are. They're reptilians. But I want to start off this segment by talking about Yacob, right? The Anunnaki Yacob. So I want to trigger my introduction. The Illuminati wants to hide the truth from your mind, soul, and body. So like, comment, and subscribe. So we're going to be talking about Yacob or Jacob, uh, where lately now it's a certain type of group of people and his followers now. They seem to be very, very critical by labeling people anti-Semitic once we're talking about Yacob or Jacob, or some people might know him as the Anunnaki Yacob, the creator of the white people, or the creator of the Khazars. Those people that are in, you know, I don't want to say too much, right? But you know who I'm talking about. Those people that like to rub their hands together and, like to, right? Those type of people. But this is an information where you got senior white Freemasons, right? Those who are Freemasons. I'll remind you, they are the followers of Lucifer. So Freemasons know about the secret, or this story about the Anunnaki Yacob, where Not all Masons know it, right? Like I'm talking about the lesser Masons, the lesser idiots, but we're talking about the senior white Freemasons, right? Those people too. They're all also created by the synagogue of Satan. Those who say they're Jews, but they're not. So these individuals, they keep these degrees for only worthy Masons to know about the secret of, the story of Yacob. But before I begin, the story of Yacob is basically, he's the current founder of racism. He's the founder of division. So just want to be able to lay at a certain aspect of what Yacob is, right? So, for example, quote, and I'm gonna say this quote because I don't want to be flagged or get in trouble by certain individuals who like to rub their hands together, right? So, quote, white America seeks to dominate black, right? And this is the truth. White America does seek to dominate black. Um, it's something that's going on till this day. We also have the Ashkenazi Jews. They seek to dominate the Sephardic Jews, right? You got North Africa. They seek to dominate Southern Africa. And when I say Northern Africa, I'm talking about the Northern African Arabs. Those who are now saying that they are the real Egyptians when they're not. These individuals come from caves, and you know how it is. So this story of Yaqub, and I'm still on quoting now. It stems from racism, like I said. It stands for everything, because the Yaqub theory, or I have to quote it again because I don't want to get flagged. As you can see, I have the fair use on my screen, right? These individuals that like to rub their hands together, they control everything. Even this YouTube platform, they control, right? So I got to be very, very, you know, watch out. So Yaqub is just basically uh, racial separatism, right? So the story of Yaqub, at the start of human history, a variety of black people inhabited the moon. Yes, the moon, right? The original moon. When a black god scientist, which is an Anunnaki, he became frustrated, that those living on the moon, uh, they didn't speak one language, right? They didn't speak language. So it's kind of like, we could take example like the world, right? The earth speaks multi languages. So, this Anunnaki, Yakub, right? He was frustrated that, you know, um, that these people that were on the moon, you know, did not speak one language. So he blew up the moon, right? Out of that. So a piece of, you know, this moon was destroyed. And uh, it's said that the piece of moon became the earth. But we can go deeper in that, where we have the asteroid belts. The asteroid belt, there was a planet called Maldek, right? Planet Maldek, where there was a ship, which what they call the Nibiru or Planet X, when it was going through the orbiting, and it accidentally wrong orbited, and it actually collided with this planet Maldek, and a piece of Maldek became Earth. But in this situation, they say Moon, so I don't want to, lose you. So, a piece of quote unquote, this Moon became the Earth. Like I said, this planet Maldek, and it was populated by a community of surviving, morally righteous black people. And when I say morally righteous black people, meaning as there wasn't no homosexuals, no LGBTQs there, they weren't child pedophilia, they weren't, these types of things that you see right now. So let's move forward. So some of these righteous black people, quote unquote, some were deferred as black Arabs. They settled in the city of Mecca, All right, settled in the city of Mecca, which is Saudi Arabia. You could also look at Saudi Arabia, the features of some of the Arabs. They're dark skinned, they're brown skinned. The ones that are like, kind of white, those are like the crypto Arabics. Like they're mostly Europeans, but they adopted Arabic traits. So Yaqub, okay, this Anunnaki, he was born in a short distance, right outside the city of Mecca, not too far, but was among the third of the original black people who were discontented with life in this society. So a member of the Meccan branch, which some people call them the tribe of Shabazz, some people just call them Arabs, some people call them Ishmaelites, like the Bible, right? So Yaqub, the Anunnaki, he earned the nickname Big Head. He had a gigantic head. It was stated that he had three brains, but it's just that so much that his head was big, he had a big brain. So it was unusually large. He had an unusually large head, and he was arrogant. He was very, very arrogant. He was full of arrogance. He was one of those individuals that are just arrogant. So at the age of 6, this Anunnaki, Yaqub, he discovered the law of attraction and repulsion by playing with magnets made of steel. And he connected this to the rules of human attraction. Um, the unlike people would attract, manipulate the original like people. Okay, so let me just break it down. So the unlike, quote unquote, people would attract or manipulate the original, quote unquote, like people. So basically, people who's good, people who's bad. So by the age of 18, he had finished his education and had learned everything that Mecca's universities had to teach him. Again, that's Saudi Arabia. So he was widely known as a successful scientist with the degrees that he developed on his own, and also the things that he learned. So he was very out of all the Anunnakis, he was like, yeah, he was the top man, or the top god, to sort of say, right? He was just that type of guy. So he discovered that the original black man, which is, some people would say Africans, some people would say Hamites, right? But the original black man, some people would say Kushites, some people would say the Indians. I'm talking about the Indians of India, the country India, or the Asian country India, right? But remember, some people might not agree because they just don't know, and they want to suppress the information so people don't know. But this whole planet was black. Uh, this whole planet was black, and black, and you have some brown too, right? It was black and brown, if you want to say. So he discovered that the original black man contained both black germ and a brown germ. And remember, you have black people that are black, and you got black people that are brown. I know it sounds stupid, but I'm just going by the way society dresses it up. So, in other words, black and brown. So, with the brown being the recessive one, so that's why some people say, and I'm keeping it honest, black black are stronger, they're faster, uh, they're they're not prone to weakness like the brown man. Uh, you know, when I say the brown man, you know what I'm talking about. Like me, I'm brown. I got brown genes in me, and also I got white genes in me as well. Because but let me not go off topic because if we want to just say quickly, we did have some whites who did rape ancestors. So with the brown being the recessive one, he believed that he could separate them by grafting. So in other words, taking the brown out the black and leaving the black, right? So he could graft the brown germ into the white germ. So he also believed that when he comes to the brown germ, all right, he could basically get white out of the brown, basically. So this insight led to the plan of creating a new people, using his tricks and lies that could rule the original black man and destroy them. As you can see, we can go with right now. Uh, Police kills blacks just like police kills whites, but majority of the time, blacks were slaves. The blacks endured the Jim Crow era, hanged. They would get the genitals cut off. They would get whipped. Um, the Arabs, the crypto Arabs, would do the same thing too. So basically, like in Africa, right? You got these white European countries like France, Spain, the Dutch, um, the Germans. The list goes on. That would Belgium, Denmark. That they would, there was a time they went to Africa and you know, they were slaughtering Africans, cutting their hands off, cutting their breasts off, just committing horrible, horrible atrocities to them. So that also is also facts to the story of Yacob, where he gratified the white race, and they were just basically enslaving the black man, and they were destroying them. So uh, he attracted a following. When I say he attracted a following, you had other Anunnakis, right, that believed in him, and they followed him. So his followers used to cause trouble, leading the Meccan authorities, the Saudi Arabian authorities, the Ishmaelites authorities, right, to exile him. They exiled Yaqub and his 59,999 followers, right? They exiled those groups and they exiled them to Greece. Okay, they exiled them on an island in the Aegean Sea, which is called Pilon, or modern days they call it Patmos, the island of Patmos. So that's where he was at. If you hear John of Patmos, there's also another Masonic story, and it's also a story too, where John was actually Yaqub, right? But let's just keep it let's just keep it short. So Yaqub, okay, the Anunnaki Yaqub, he developed Christianity, and as you can see, the Greeks or Greece, they have their form of Christianity, which was quote unquote founded by Yaqub, the Anunnaki. So Yaqub developed this Christianity to fool the black people into supporting him, and he tricked them into not knowing their true history. So, as you can see, right now, Russia has these artifacts where they're showing that the prophets, the people of the Bible, Jesus Christ, etc., all were black. By the way, but it was whitewashed by the synagogue of Satan. Those who say they're Jews but they're not. It was whitewashed, and they painted these characters white and gave it to the black people so they could believe in that whites were superior. It's just a mind trick. But Russia, who knows the story, and they kept it in their vault, and they're releasing it so they could dismantle the synagogue of Satan. Those who say they're Jews but they're not. Those people that likes to rub their hands together, so to say. Those type of people. So moving on. So once there, he established a let's see, a despotic regime, right? Starting to breed out the black traits of his followers. So basically, as you can see, you got these certain people, right? Uh, they like to act like a certain race. They try to portray a certain race. So, in other words, breeding the black traits out of his followers, right? So back in slavery, you had the field N words, and then you had the house N words. So the field N words were the blacks, and the house N words were the brown or light skinned, so to say, right? Just to give you an idea of what I'm saying. So this entailed breeding new children. With those who were too dark, they were being killed at birth. Their bodies were being fed to wild animals, or they were incinerated. Nowadays, if it was like based on today, they would get thrown into meat grinders and become hamburgers. So this Yacob, this Anunnaki, he died at the age of 150. Now, in the Bible, it says that man is able to live 120, but there's people that's recorded living 200 years. But this certain Anunnaki, he died at 150 years. So his followers, drinking a little tea, by the way. So his followers carried on his work as he passed down his knowledge uh, to a certain group of people. Those people that like to rub their hands together, those type of people. They actually are his creations. That's why a certain chancellor in Germany back in the days, he was basically letting people know that these people were inferior, right? Because he knew the story of the Yakub, right? So to say, and not to say that all, like some people say, oh, all whites are this and that. No, 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 no. You have certain people that likes to rub their hands together. They tell you that they're not white, right? So let's move forward. So the white race was created, which is those people, and all the races other than the black race were byproducts of Yakub's work. So it says that the red people, red, yellow, and brown races were created during the bleaching process. So, so to say, Taino Indians, Awak Indians, the Asians, like the Chinese, the Japanese, the Koreans, the brown races, like uh, people like from Kazakhstan, Afghanistan, and the list goes on, right? So it says that, you know, those people are his byproducts, right? So, uh, for example, you could be brown, right? Like if you're brown or light skinned, know that, quote unquote, it's the byproduct. So let's move forward. So, being said, so it was created during the bleaching process, the red, yellow, and brown races. Now, the red germ came out of the brown. It says the yellow germ came out of the red, and the yellow germ came out of the white. So the brutal conditions of their creation determine the evil nature of the new race. Uh, the new race, by lying to the black mother of the baby, this lie was born into the very nature of the white baby, and they would, cause them to be murdering the black people, which was also born in them and made by nature a liar and murderer. So, in other words, as you can see, the European race is a war race, barbarian race. That's also why the Chinese created the Wall of China to keep the barbarians out. It wasn't really keeping barbarians; it was keeping those violent European people out. By the way, so and also, even Jesus said that your father is the first liar and murderer. In other words, so a group of people distant from the original Asiatic race, the white race is basically belittled of divinity, and also they're being interest well intrinsically prone to lying, violence and brutality. And as you can see, they like to lie. Those people, they like violence. That's why they like killing, and everything is guns and wild wild west, and cutting heads off like France, decapitating people. Like all of them are just like all these people got are very very savages, and brutality too. Brutality is a form where they used to tie the legs of slave and hit two horses on the side and rip them apart. They would cut a pregnant woman's stomach out, have the baby come out unborn or just the way it came out. Uh, they would rape, as you know, they like, you know, these racists, they like booty holes, men's booty holes. They would rape the men, disgusting stuff. They would bull whip them. So we have the evidence there of this being truly, truly, truly true. So Yacob, and this is not promoting hate or anything like that. It's just fair use, telling the truth. So please don't flag me. So Yacob's newly created white race, they, you know, they were in war with the black race. They were at war with the black race. They were doing a lot of sick stuff. So what happened is you had a certain black race, black people, um, whether if it was Ishmaelites, whether if it's black, basically people that's black and brown. In other words, so what happened is they came together. They came together, and when they came together, the one thing that they did is they needed to, you know, protect themselves from these beings. These beings were savages. They were very, very brutal. Like I said, China is another one too that actually. So going back to what I'm saying with China, all right. Remember the Chinese? They made the Great Wall of China, that long wall of China. It was to protect their race because you're dealing with Europeans, gratified Europeans, the creations of Yakub. Like I said, they were violent and brutal. So everything was barbaric. Vikings, look at the Vikings. Look at the Anglo Saxons. Like you could go on and on and on. Like these people were like Vladimir the Impala, right? Transylvania individual. Like they were just violent, you know. So going back to what I was saying, so you had the black and the brown nation around that time. They actually, made a beeline with weapons. They had weapons, things like that. And what they did is these murderers, these savages, these demons, or some people call them, they pushed them to Europe. They pushed them out of Mecca. They pushed them out of like that area of Kazakhstan, uh, Afghanistan area. They pushed them out and they pushed them to Europe, like people of Poland, right? Those people. I'm not going to speak too much. They like to rub their hands. They pushed them to Europe, and also the other Europeans too. Now they pushed them to Europe. So when they pushed them to Europe, they basically, you know, uh, they pushed them or exiled them to live in the caves of Europe or West Asia. Some people say like the caves. That's why you got cavemen, the Neanderthals, the cavemen. It's recorded. You can see which race that lived in caves. It's there. You just got to do your research. So it was in Europe that these white race individuals, right? They engaged in bestiality and just degenerated stuff. Sleep with women. Till this day, you got there are women that like to sleep with donkeys. The men like to go in pigs. Like you see it, it's there. it's there. You can do your research and see these types of people that like to engage in bestiality. Even in Masonry, Freemasons, they have a degree that's called riding the goat, where the Freemason has to literally, you know, have sex, sleep with this goat as a form of degree. So it's just degenerated stuff that they were doing. Like I said, the men were sleeping with men. That's why today you got certain group of people that worship men's booty holes and stuff like that. So basically, uh, they lost everything, right? But they still had certain language that these people still had. Um, and that's where it happened is when with these European people, they just started making their own borders. So like the Anglo Saxons, the Irish, Spain, you got Denmark, Belgium, the Lithuania, the European parts. So what they did, they created their own borders, and eventually they adapted their own language. So what happened is, these Europeans or these germs, they were kept from going to parts of Africa. They were basically blocked from Africa, the Middle East. As you can see, a certain race of people moved into the Middle East in 1948. Those people are also, they are the people of Yacob, violent, brutal, genocidal maniacs. So, moving forward. So, being said, what happened is some of the certain white race, right? They wanted to become black. They wanted to become black, but they failed. Um, for example, when I say you have some white race that wanted to become black, because they know their origin, they know the story. Like for example, you got some white races, they do want to become black. They imitate the black man, they imitate the black woman. They want to get the big butts. They want to get the dreads. They want to act hip hop. So as you can see, and it's the truth. So this was going also back in the time of Yaqub, just as in today, it still goes on. Am I wrong? I'm not wrong. So as a result, it's said that these Europeans, uh, you know, they tried to. It's said that they, were sleeping with gorillas and monkeys. That's another story, but you know, that's just one of the stories. So that's where bestiality come from. So I guess so. Moving forward, you have, some people say Allah, some people say Jehovah, some people say Yahweh, some people say he has a whole bunch of names, right? But the supreme God, the creator of all race, quote unquote, or the creator of earth and heaven, right? So he was fair. He know what Yaqub did, but he was fair, and uh, Allah, God, Yahweh, Jehovah, you want to call him, but don't call him Hashem. Hashem is Satan, by the way. So to help develop the white race, where they're still considered our brother, they're still our brother. It's just that we just trying to hope that and a lot of them woke up. A lot of them woke up. A lot of them realized the truth. So a lot of them want to live in harmony with other nations, but you got these people that like to rub their hands together, the synagogue of Satan, those who say they're Jews but they're not. They want to create division amongst us so they could keep us divided. So around that time, it's said that Allah, he sent prophets to them, uh, first of whom he sent Musa, which is Moses. He sent Moses, who taught the whites how to cook and wear clothes. He's civilized them, and this is the truth. Just as in the Spaniards, Spain, you had the Moors. The Moors is the one who civilized also the people of Europe, taught them how to bathe, taught them not to sleep with humans. I mean, not humans, excuse me, not to sleep with beasts. So this is also recorded in history. So please don't flag me for talking the truth. So Moses, on the other hand, he tried to civilize them. He did, but they were overwhelming for him, and they were, bloodlusts. They like to eat raw meat. As you can see, some people like to eat their steak bloody. So you should know what type of people that these people are. So Moses gave up, and he blew up about 300 of the most troublesome white people with a dynamite. Like those, like you want to say, like deranged people. And also, it's said that Jesus, Isa, Yahshua, right? He also was a prophet, and not just that he was a prophet, but he was also sent by the Most High, or he was sent by Yahweh, Jehovah. He was sent to also civilize them and talk to them. And this is where you have certain group of white people, like for example, Russia. Russia takes this highly, which like I said, they have books of all the prophets being black, books of Jesus also. So they worship a black Jesus. So this, Jesus was sent to civilize a certain group of the races. But you had those people too who likes to rub their hands together, the synagogue of Satan, who he talks about, the generation of vipers, those individuals. What happened with them is that, um, you know, uh, they had their own book, which was called the Talmud, or sometimes called the Book of Tricknology, which is Satan's book, in other words. So what they did is they basically, stopped Jesus. They the one who killed Jesus, persecuted him, things of that nature, because they said that he was a false prophet. At that time, these Yacob's followers, children of Yacob, they believed in homosexuality when the Bible condemns it. They believe in pedophilia when also, it's not right. But, they have their own thing that they do. So they use their trickery. These people have lack of empathy. That's why they like to commit genocides. They are committing genocides. I didn't say their name. I'm just saying. And, they basically enslaved the black population at the same time. As you know, um, those people that like to rub their hands together, the synagogue of Satan, they were actually the ones who were responsible for the slave trade, of bringing slaves to America and bringing slaves to the Caribbean islands. So you should know who these people are because they have boats named after the prophets of the Bible. So just to mock us. So you know these individuals who they are. So Yaqub though, his segment, it was destined, his individuals, those people that like to rub their hands together, they were destined to rule for 6,000 years before the original black people of the world would regain dominance. And that was the end, which was the year of 1914. And nowadays, those people that are awake, they're being labeled as anti-Semitic, because when you tell the truth about Yaqub's children, you tell the truth, you get labeled as some type of racist or some type of individual, right? But this is just uh, you know the truth. But like I said, you could do your research on it. Freemasons know about this. Russia knows about this. This is why Russia is also at war with those individuals of the children of Yaqub. Okay, they're they're doing what they're doing. But this is just information that I'm just sharing with you guys. Like I said, it's always good to do research to know what I'm talking about. Um, just like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll talk about it till next time. Thank you again.